stop, but whenever I take off the plaster, it like
you're bleeding out, Maggie.
Yeah, it's so deep that it just keeps bleeding. Anyway, I just remembered that we were talking about stealing stories. And I just remembered that. Have you ever been robbed, like your house broken into and robbed?
I'm trying to remember like the like youngest kind of like memory. I feel like it did happen at our house in New Orleans, but I can't really remember it. I'm trying to think. Oh, one time. Okay. I remember now. I was coming home from school. There was no one at school, and I lived in the middle of nowhere in Mississippi, where a place it's like very kind of well known that people in that area do a lot of crystal meth. Because it's like, so like my nearest neighbor was like 2 miles or a mile away or something, maybe like a half a mile away. It was just like a walk. Like, so it's like, it was very secluded. So like perfect place for a crystal meth dens.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, as you would. And yeah, I got off the bus and I went inside and like, I remember like, we had this, my mom sold like little tiny puppies, and we had one that was like super, super tiny, like that we kept in the house, like, because it was so tiny, it had its own cage and it was really, really tiny and cute.
Like a teacup dog.
Yeah, some sort of teacup dog. And yeah, and I just like, the dog is always put away in its cage because it's so tiny it could like really hurt himself. It's like it was a wee puppy. And yeah, and then I come inside and the dog like runs straight to me like when I come through the front door. And we had like a back door and a back porch as well. That was like the main entrance that everyone kind of used. Like I only used like the front door, like me and my siblings, whenever we were coming home from school or something. And then I just like heard people like talking, like, and saw like shadows, and I was like I walked in and I was like, why is the dog like out kind of thing? And then literally I was like, oh fuck, like, and then I saw like shadows and I just like reacted so quickly, like I just like, because I didn't want them to like hear my door, like, you know, my front door. So I just literally grabbed the dog and then went out the window of my sister's room. And then I just like ran to my neighbors where like one of my friends from school like lived. I mean, again, nothing really happened, like, because I just like was like, fuck this, I'm out.
Oh my God,
no,
that's good reaction skills.
But yeah,
though.
they didn't take anything. It's just my mom's papers were everywhere. I think like there was nothing to take. Like, honestly, we didn't really have that much. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing to like sell or anything.
Yeah, I'm like if someone broke into my house now, there's literally nothing to take. Like,
yeah, literally, like, yeah, that's what I mean.
Like, what the fuck are you gonna take? My fucking TV?
Yeah, there's TVs everywhere.
Yeah,
TVs are garbage.
No, literally my TV.
Yeah, like we even went through a period of not having TV as well, which was crazy. So, but yeah.
Nuts. That's insane. Good reaction skills though. Well done.
I know, my mom taught me well.
Yeah, like
reaction
I would have
skills to everything like that.
I would be like, freeze.
No, I was just like, no, bye. Like,
I'd be like, Dad,
I
that
know.
you? Like,
and it was just like it was like one of those things. Like my mom never left the door like open or anything like that. Like, do you know? Like it was just like, bye. Yeah.
I'm out of here. Yeah, I actually remember coming back from holiday once, and just walking into the house and kind of like feeling this weird vibe that something wasn't right, and my parents looked very not okay because they could tell obviously that something wasn't right.
Yeah.
And I remember walking through the flat and everything was just a mess, and then I walked into the living room and I realized that there was like a lot of things were missing, kind of like the TV or I don't even remember specifically what kind of things we had, but it was just like everything was messy and taken, like yeah. And then it turned out that we were robbed. That there was just some like Bulgarian gypsies that broke into our house.
Oh my God.
They basically like would wait for you to leave, then they would kind of like see if your lights came on a couple nights, and if they didn't, then they would know that you're obviously on holiday, and then they would break into your house and steal stuff. But I literally like so many things got stolen in our neighborhood by like gypsies. They literally would steal big like metal pieces that connected the electricity. So we would literally just get like everyone would lose electricity, and they'd be like, what happened? They'd be like, they just decided to steal a wire, like just to sell it.
Oh my God.
It was so weird. Yeah,
No,
so
I have no, like, I didn't really know that was like a thing. Like, I don't know. I guess
people
like
do shit for money.
when I moved in, like, yeah, like stealing wires or like copper, like the
Yeah.
copper and wires you can like sell. Like, that's so crazy. Metal, scrap metal. I know, I've heard of people
Yeah.
like stealing scrap metal and stuff like that.
Yeah, I just don't get how. I would just be worried that, like, could they not pinpoint where I maybe took
Yeah.
it from and stuff, but
No. Imagine like robbing someone's house. Like, I couldn't imagine actually doing that, like being the person doing it, like sneaking in. And like, obviously, even in the States, there's so much risk. Like, people have guns. Like, do
my
you know what I
dad
mean?
had like a rifle
Yeah,
in
that's so
Bulgaria.
scary.
My dad had like, you know, samurai
Oh, true
swords.
that.
Swords.
His samurai sword.
Yeah, he had proper big scary ones. Like,
Yeah, oh my
literally
God.
thinking back on it, my dad had so many weapons. Like,
Yeah.
if you would not want to break into our house if my dad was there. That would be terrible. I would be
Yeah,
scared
that's
for
what
the
I
people.
mean. But I guess that's why I guess you'd have to be a pretty shit burglar to go in when people are there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, actually, so I used to watch this guy on YouTube, and we should get him on the podcast. If he says yes, I'll be so chuffed.
Yeah.
But he basically tells the stories of his past of how he used to rob people's houses.
Really?
Yeah, and it
That's
was
so
very
interesting.
interesting to hear somebody else's perspective of like who's done it. I've heard loads of people's stories of being robbed, but
Yeah.
not being the robber. And basically, he said that this one time the people were in the house and they basically like switched on the lights, and he was like, "Oh shit, they're here."
Fuck.
And then he had to
But-
hide in their attic, and
Oh
there
my
was police, and
God.
he said that he could not move or breathe or do anything like for hours. And then the police left, and they were like, "Oh, he must be gone by now." He heard all the stuff they were talking about, like saying about him.
Still here.
Yeah, he's like, "Bitches, I'm looking at you." But and then he just left in the middle of the night when all the
They were
commotion.
sleeping.
Yeah,
That's so creepy.
I
Imagine
know.
like
He what's
you
a
being
creep.
the person. Yeah, but like that's nuts though.
It's
That's
just
so
interesting,
creepy.
both perspectives.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, and
not
obviously
handle
he's
that.
scared. Then there was another story where he was running away from a house that he robbed, and he basically hid inside someone's swimming pool, but it was like winter time.
Yeah.
And he said I don't know. Yeah, it was basically the pool was covered with a sheet.
Fuck.
And then there was still water in there. He said there could have been like an alligator in there. There could have been
my
anything because
God.
it's America.
Yeah, in
And-
Florida.
Yeah, and he
Yeah.
freaking he said either he was going to get caught by the police and go to prison
The
or
hell?
hide there and risk it, like
Yeah.
with whatever could have been in that water. I know.
So he risked it.
Yeah, he did it and he got away with it.
Fuck me.
Literally, he did end up going to prison, but for a completely different reason. He's got a really
Wow.
cool channel.
That's cool. That sounds really interesting. Gonna,
Mr.
like-
Death.
Is that what he's called?
Well, he calls himself Old Death.
Old Death.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
Old Death.
He is really cool. But yeah,
Yeah.
have you ever stolen anything before?
Well, yes.
Girl,
Yeah.
so have I.
Yes,
So
I'll
not.
just say it straight away. But in my defense, I was really young, and it was someone who was very close family member that basically taught me and my sister how to do it, like kind of thing, and just kind of like class it as like, you don't have money, like if you want nice things, this is how you get it. And I was just like, oh. And then it was kind of like, don't do it to like independent people's, only to the big department stores.
Yeah, don't do it to small businesses.
Yeah, stuff like that. So it wasn't like, yeah, like doing it in like a small shop or something like that. It'd be like, I don't know, JC Penney's or some shit.
What's JC Penney
It's like this-
equivalent in the UK?
Kind of like a John Lewis, but not as nice. Yeah.
I really need
a
drink.
That's cool. But yeah, I got caught twice in my life before because
Shit.
again, I was told to do it until like, you know, keep doing it until you're 18 because then you can't get in trouble for it.
Fuck, but you got caught by the police.
Yeah, I got caught twice.
Like, did
yeah.
you get arrested?
The first time I was like really young, and the way it was taught was like you always do it with multiple people.